All right, let's get down to this national conference matter, because I mean it wasn't long after the he was, I think is, yes, Niger State Governor, Chairman of Northern Governors Forum, did speak, saying, well, he thinks everyone should support this, and they're not shying away from this discussion.
It was in Yola at a ceremony, and I was the master of ceremony, so I heard him directly, and I must tell you that every one of us should be able to sit down and dialogue. But the fear I have, and which many people have, is there a commitment on the part of the leadership to ensure that whatever outcome is implemented? I tell you, we've had the T.Y. Danjuma committee, we have had the Steve Orisanyet committee, we have had the Nuhu Ribadu committee. What came of the outcome of all this, their committee assignments?
You know, it's just like, I mean, someone gave this same analogy, and then another one said, look, it's just like some people who say, look, the elections have been rigged, they're always rigged. Does it mean that people should stop voting and we just throw our hands up in the air?
No, they should not. But you see, leadership comes with some level of responsibility. Let us be honest with ourselves. We've had the misfortune in this country of having three sets of people as our leaders. We have the unprepared, we have the uncommitted, and we have the compromised. And the unprepared takes leadership. You know, the leadership overwhelms the unprepared. And you discover that the unprepared becomes clueless in running the affairs of state. The uncommitted sees leadership purely as a trophy. And you know, when you win a trophy, you go to celebrate. No, the competition has ended. And then the compromise, you know, already have their hands soiled in graft. So when they get leadership, they add to the soiling of the... And this is our major problem as a nation. We need a leadership that is prepared, a leadership that is committed, a leadership that is focused. Once we have that kind of leadership, anything, you don't even have to dialogue. Let me tell you, why are we dialoguing? We're dialoguing because everybody feels, you know, the system is not fair to the person. Why is the system not fair to the person? Because the people at the leadership position are not fair to everybody.
You know, politics is always a little funny, because this is the same thing they said about your governor not long ago, because they say
that what?
That he's out, he just stumbled into it. They brought him back from the farm, and they say all sorts of things in politics. Are we supposed to believe all of this?
It's true, but can you give me one commitment he has made that he has not fulfilled? We're talking about people making commitments and not fulfilling their commitments.
How is setting up a committee a commitment?
You see,
you must fulfill.
You make a commitment and you must fulfill the commitment. My governor had never hidden the fact that, look, I was drafted into this thing. Yes, but I have also...
He wasn't prepared for it, in other words. That's what you said.
No. He was prepared. You see, I mean,
if he was drafted,
he has been prepared and tested as a leader. Preparation for leadership requires much more than just being ambitious.
You say tested as a leader?
Yeah, much more than just being ambitious. You have to have been, you know, groomed for leadership.
But you know, some people will disagree with you on that, Mr. Sajoh, because something that, I mean... Anybody who rises to the peak of his career in the military is prepared for leadership. The military itself prepares you for leadership. Even if the person occupies a position that they say was just created and no other position, no other person has... that position doesn't actually exist in the formation, that it was just created to just accommodate him in the Navy.
No, be fair. Before then, he was the chief of naval staff. Before then, he has risen to the peak of the Navy. He rose to the rank of the chief of naval staff, and that was leadership.
Okay, but anyway. She did ask. I mean, in terms of this is an advisory committee.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we've also heard people say, look, whatever.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
The advisory committee is very good, but the advisory committee is made up of a lot of people who are too aligned to a certain tendency. That's our only fear. And then the advisory committee has also taken, you know, the first step they took. We're in television, you know, when you're doing television production and the artist takes a false start, you count it as false start and cancel it and restart. They've already taken a false start.
Which is?
They are 13 in the committee. They are 13. They have 6 geopolitical zones to cover. in trying to get opinions. They should have divided themselves into two teams of, teams of 2, 6, and then they visit the entire state at least. But take my own zone now in the Northeast. They are doing the consultations in Bauchi and Maiduguri. For God's sake, even if you pay me millions, I will not go to Maiduguri. Everybody knows. We're just talking about people going on their way back to Maiduguri and they were waylaid and hacked. So the participation and attendance at Maiduguri will be very, very limited. Then they are going to Bauchi. For somebody in Adamawa and Taraba, Gombe would have been more ideal, even if you wanted me to attend, because I can leave Yola in the morning, arrive Gombe, participate, and come back. But you're putting it to Bauchi, which means I have to leave in the morning, go and spend the night in Bauchi, participate in the process, and then return the next day. I have to spend 2 days in Bauchi. So if you don't have means to transport yourself and accommodate yourself and feed yourself for 2 days in Bauchi, you will not participate.
Is it too heavy a price to pay? Because, what we understand is that a lot of ethnic nationalities are sending delegates. We saw what happened. Well, we saw what happened in Edo State. We saw that people from Port Harcourt, from Rivers, Port Harcourt and Rivers are the same thing. Bayelsa, Delta, all convened in Edo
you are
State.
all getting it wrong. What we're talking about is a free an opportunity for people to freely come and when you begin to organize yourself into cleavages, interest will come in. Moneyed and property people will begin to sponsor delegates, and that is where we are going to get it wrong.
Why?
Because people who are sponsored definitely would have to go and do the bidding of their sponsor.
So
most of the delegations that you're talking about, the ones we saw in Edo State, some of the delegations were sponsored by the state governments. And what if the state governments are themselves the problems we are having?
So
some are sponsored by National Assembly members. What if the National Assembly members are the problems we are having?
What then do you envisage? You envisage a situation where the whole of Adamawa will come and talk about
I am not talking about the whole of Adamawa, but whoever is interested should be given an opportunity.
But it has to be,
regardless of whether he has money or not.
It has to be organized. You don't think so?
It has to be organized. But if you do it in Yola, somebody from my village will be able to attend. And unless if the opinions you want are the opinions of property elite, and that's what I said the last time I came here, that our concern is only the property elite. We're not concerned about the people who are not property. But the most important thing, remember, the president said we are more divided along ethnic lines, we're more divided along religious lines, and we are more divided among economic lines. Ownership of property. And that is the key, the most fundamental. In fact, the ethnic and the religious would have fizzled away if we were equitable in the distribution of the wealth of the country amongst the various constituent groups, amongst the various people. If we could make opportunities available to everybody.
But so have you heard?
But we don't.
Have you heard some people also say that, look, this equitable distribution along economic lines is predicated upon equitable distribution along ethnic and political lines?
No.
Because some of them think...
Let me tell you, I'm not bothered who is the president. I'm not bothered who is the governor. I'm not bothered about who is the chairman of the local government. If I am sure that he will be equitable towards me.
That's if. That's a big if.
He sees the position of the president. He sees the position of the governor. He sees the position of the chairman as a trophy to be won for his ethnic group, for his region, for his... And for as long as he sees it as a trophy, he will go back and celebrate with his people. And I will be an outsider. When teams finish a game, the winners don't go and celebrate with the losers. The losers go and begin to weep.
Mr. Ahmed Sajoh,
yes.
Just a question. You're from Mubi. You said you're from Mubi.
Yeah.
Are you saying that if you had the opportunity to go for that conference, what you will be canvassing will be your personal opinion?
My personal opinion at the conference.
Your personal, what would benefit just you and your family? I'm just asking.
Yeah. If I am opportune to go to the conference,
yes.
I would ask the conference to discuss just one subject.
Which is?
How do we get a leadership that is equitable, just,
do you
and
think
fair?
Do you think that is a position that your people will willingly support?
I don't know. You're asking me for my personal opinion, so don't hang it on me that I'm talking for my people.
The reason I ask this is because a lot of people have said that leadership at the end of the day is usually by the elite. what usually happens is that the elite are supposed to always think of the common good, you know, because it's not very possible for everybody to come to the table and discuss. It would seem that this particular committee, you know, at stand the risk of whatever it is that they do, you know, at the end of the day, they will still be condemned. They do something
whether
wrong,
you are elite or not, Maupe, you must aggregate the views, needs, expectations, and the desires of the ordinary people.
Do you think that
what we are doing in Nigeria?
What I'm asking you is, do you think that if the people of Mubi were to send a delegation to, you know, is it not Gombe State now, to Bauchi State, they will not go to Maiduguri. Do you think that it will be a fair representation and not just, you know, do you think that that is possible? It's possible for the people of Mubi to be able to send a fair representation to Bauchi State?
I don't know, because like I said, it requires money to go to Bauchi. Bauchi is too far away. In fact, if you are living from Yola, it takes you about 6 hours. If you are living from Mubi, God knows how long it will take you. Because from whichever direction you want to go to Mubi, there is no roads. All the federal road that leads to Mubi are bad. So between just Mubi and Biu, you may spend about 3 to 4 hours, which is ordinarily a 1.5 hour journey. So by the time they get to, before they can get to Bauchi, it's quite some distance for them.
Won't it be about the same thing if you are going from Madagali to Yola?
No, it's not. It's not the same. Lie.
But you have to also bear some hours.
No, but you can leave Madagali in the morning and get to Yola before 10 if you leave very early, because between Madagali and Mubi, you know, it's about an hour or less, and between Mubi and between Mararaba and Yola, it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours.